So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Dad here from Zephyr Games, bringing you my 60 card Gren Maju Castle deck. Now, I took this to Nottingham Regional and I went 4-3, it wasn't the best, but I had a hell of a lot of fun with this. So my rounds were, round 1 was against Salamangreat. Annoyingly, I'd been practicing the Salamangreat matchup for so long leading up to this, and he just stomped me. It just did not go well. Round 2 was Zombies, that was very fun. I had to play for a rivalry, which kind of sucked, but I was able to get past it and then ultimately win that game. I played 2 Orcas Sky Striker. One I lost to because I didn't DD Crow the Babble, so that is a lesson learnt. The other one I won. I went into 0 Boros and just kind of looped the board. Then I played Salamangreat and won that matchup. And I played... what else did I play? I think I played against a Subterra and I just bricked hard. I also played Trap Trick deck, and that was really fun. Very powerful. I had to dodge all of his back row because of Waking the Dragon, but that was very fun to play and very cool to kind of see how that deck was put together. So I will actually try and do a Trap Trick profile for you guys as well later on in the week. But without further ado, as it is 60 cards, I am going to blitz through this deck and tell you what I would change and what I wouldn't. So obviously it is Gren Maju, so you play triple Gren Maju. This is your boss monster of the deck. It is quite susceptible to stuff like Veiler, Imperms, very rarely on the Imperms unless they've been set, but still very powerful. Triple Eater of Millions, I really like this card. I think it still causes your opponent a lot of issues, and it is another kind of like out to some of their cards because they do have to kind of either negate it or pop it, so it can be a nice little bait out, plus it can't be used as super poly material, even better. Triple Gizmek, MVP of the deck. So good. The fact that it's a quick play, so during your opponent's end phase, you banish 8, summon this guy. Already your Gren Maju is up to 32. And then during your turn, you use Gizmek's effect to banish 3 from your extra deck to pop a card. Or pop a face-up monster, sorry. And then that again can get your opponent to use one of their cards to stop it. So one of their negates, one of their pops, anything like that. And then if you pop a Desires, straight away your Gren Manju's on 72 and he's going to cause them a lot of issues. Not to mention, you can then have this as a defensive play during your opponent's turn as well. So it is very important and powerful. Moving on to the castle monsters, we do play triple Glyph. Glyph is another way of searching out your golden castle. Very important. And the idea is between the Desires and this, you kind of bait out an Ash. So you Desires first. Hopefully that the banished 10 is too tempting for your opponent to not do, and then you go Glyph just to get your guaranteed castle. Then the best castle monster is Hextrude. Really like this card. The fact that it just pop any card really causes your opponent a lot of issues, and then it just gains a permanent 400 or can give another card a permanent 400. And then it can attack monsters twice as long as it has destroyed the card. Very powerful card, level 8 dark as well, so it does fall under Allure and Trade-In. Triple Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. I probably only resolved this once during the entire tournament. It's not that necessary. It was a last minute addition. I did watch a Golden Castle profile, not Golden Castle, a Gren Maju profile on Simo's channel where they used the Orcus engine. And I regret not putting the Orcus engine in because throughout the entire tournament I did realise, like my first turn play, before going into the tournament and before seeing that video, wasn't really a lot. It was like there can only be one. Then I saw the video and I was like, right, okay, so the idea is you want to end on an Appaloosa, and then if you've got a there can only be one, even better. But then I kind of didn't want to use the Orcus engine. I was like, I don't want to be that guy that keeps just putting Orcus in anything, but I actually really regret it because it's such a good engine. It would have helped this deck out massively. MVP of the hand traps, DD Crow, so good. Stopped the Orcus matchup, stopped the Salad matchup when I had it. But then the issue, as you can see with the Subterra matchup, the Phantasme and the DD Crows are kind of redundant a little bit, so they both had to go. Double Veiler, because I was stuck at 60, I had 2 spaces left. It was either Veiler or Pranktops. I chose to go with Veiler. Veiler definitely put the work in, so I'm happy I went with that. I'm disappointed I didn't put Ashes in. Again, it was one of them last minute decisions and probably came back to bite me in the backside. Dangers, triple Bigfoot. triple Thunderbird, both because they're level 8s, both have very, very good effects. You want to be going second anyway, so you can minimise these when you're going first, or if you win game 1 and you think your opponent's going to make you go first. Take these down to 2 if you need to as well. Double Schnick. Double Ogopogo. I had this at 3, dropped it to 2 last minute and put in 2 Mothmen. Mothman was both good and bad. Ogopogo is just out and out bad, but it is a level 8 dark. It can deck thin a little bit by Foolish Burying one of your monsters, and then if you've got a Jaguar, you can, a Chupacabra, you can reveal it, ditch it, and summon back what you've sent off of Ogopogo. But it is just there for a level 8 dark, for a trading target, a lore target, and then a rank 8 target as well. Double Mothman, never really resolved his effect, wasn't that great, it was just an additional danger in hand. Double Jackalope, we all know why that's so good. Double Nessie, and then double Chupacabra. I did have this again at 3, and I cut it down to 2. I could possibly arguably put Chupacabra back up to 3, but there's not really rank 4 plays in this deck, so it doesn't actually have as much usefulness as the level 8s. And then finally, double Necrophase. This actually did really, really well. So in a game where you're going Desires, Castle, and Gizmet, you're banishing a heck of a lot of cards. And in one of my games, the Track Trick game, I actually had this in hand, and I banished a lot of cards. I think I had like 8 cards left in deck. Normal summon the Necrophase. Everything went back into my deck, and he even banished one of my Gizmecs, or I banished the Gizmek off of the lore, and everything just went back in the deck. It was a beefy Necrophase, but it was more. It's less so for the beef attack. It's more so just to recycle all of your banished cards, so you still have plays to do going further forward. We've then got triple Golden Castle of Stormberg. I'm probably I wanted to play this deck more for the Gold Castle engine than for anything else, which is why I opted against the Orcus engine, because you don't want to be banishing your Orcus stuff off of Golden Castle unless you go with a Necrophase. So I wanted to go with the Golden Castle engine more than anything. It was good, it was fun, but not as many people fell for it as I was hoping. I was hoping so many people wouldn't read it and then would just run into attack and it would get destroyed, or being able to bring out Hextrude as well, just to give them more of an issue. But it constantly got ashed, constantly got Cosmic Cycloned, so I kind of learnt my lesson on that one there. We then got a crud ton of draw spells with triple Trade-ins, triple Desires, and triple Allures. All very, very useful, all very, very powerful, all very, very good. Just to deck thin and go through your deck. I think out of the entire tournament, there was one occasion where I had to blind the Lord. That was it. Everything else was absolutely fine. Triple Super Poly, because you want to break your opponent's board as consistently and as easily as possible. And Super Poly is one of the best ways to do so. And then Triple Mind Control. In my first game against Salamangrates, he made an Appaloosa. I opened up 2 of these. I was like, cool, I've got 2 of these, Hextrude, a Golden Castle, which was my saving grace that he then Cosmic Cycloned, and then something else. And I was just like, yeah, cool, good hand, bro. But Mind Control is really, really good. Trying to steal a Galatea to then turn it into a Dingreaser is quite funny. But, of course, it is a Mind Control, so it never really won me a game. It helped, but it never won me a game. So I'm not too sure if I'd keep this in or take this out. Again, this is another one. So again, shout out to the Golden Castle profile, or not the Golden Castle, the Gren Maju profile on CMO's channel. Kind of gave me a couple of ideas for this. I'll go for the side deck first. Triple Nibiru. It's hard to side in a 60 card deck because your chances of drawing the card you need is going to be a lot lower in a 60 card deck, obviously. So you need to make sure that what you're putting in, you put in at freeze, and what you do put in is going to be a game changer. So that's why you have to go with triple Nibiru, triple Twin Twisters, because if you discard a danger off of this, you're going to get an additional effect as well. So technically you're not really losing anything, especially if you're dropping a Bigfoot or a Thunderbird, you're popping 3 back row. Triple there can be only 1. I had this against, I think I had it against a Salamangrate player. The first time he opened up Cosmic Cyclone perfectly, I was like, alright, cool, cry. And then the second one, I stupidly held off. He went into Heat Leo. I had to flip this to get rid of the Heat Leo, but then the Heat Leo just span it back anyway, so I was just like, cool, rip me. Triple System Down, used this against one of the Orcus Striker players, both Striker players, Orcus Striker players, and it was very, very powerful, but I couldn't finish the game off, which was disappointing on my behalf. Triple Artifact Lancia, never saw it, so what more can you say? But this is pretty much a standard side deck for this current meta. Hopefully when we get the ban list it will all change up a little bit more. Moving on to the extra deck, we'll go through the Super Poly targets first. The best thing with Super Poly targets is they were very, very easy to sack off should you not need them. So we had the Dracus de Pelio, the Mud Dragon, the Salamangreat Great Violet Chimera, and the Starving Venom. So you could sack these off with your Gizmek or, of course, your Eater of Millions. If at any point you're like, right, cool, these are dead cards, I no longer need them, get rid of them. It was very, very good and easy just to, you know, easy fodder so you didn't have to think about it too much. Moving on to the Link monsters, of course, we did have the one IP Masculina, because IP could then go into a Unicorn and could also go into the BLS. Now, again, I went into IP a couple of times, but never really, like, I think the only thing that I made with IP was this guy here, Zero Boris. Zero Boris was so cool because you have Gizmet to trigger it yourself, and my opponent actually had Bomber Dragon on board. So I used my IP to make Zero Boris, put Zero Boris in the Bomber zone, and because it was his turn, it went Chain Link 1 Bomber, Chain Link 2 Zero Boris. So Zero Boris banished everything, and then obviously Bomber would attempt to blow up whatever's left, but it doesn't. So Zero Boris was actually a very, very good card, very, very powerful, and I really, really like it. I would probably put it in most decks that can make level 4s, or Link 4s, sorry, alongside this girl here, and that is, of course, Appaloosa. I think I made Appaloosa once going first, and that really, really caught my opponent off because they weren't expecting it. Don't know why they weren't expecting it, but they won. And then that ended up winning me the game. Then onto the rank 8 engine. We've got the one Dingrisu, both for mind control and the fact that you can hard make it as well. A last minute edition of Zombie Stein. I used this against a Trap Trick player. I was going to go into the Galaxy engine, which I'll show you in a bit, to pop both back row, and luckily I didn't because there was Awaken the Dragon sitting there waiting for me. So I went into Zombie Stein instead just to kind of like negate monster effects, which is quite good. And then of course you've got the Hope Harbinger for your spell negate as well. And then going on to the Galaxy combo, you have the one Galaxy Eye Cypher if you want to steal one of your opponent's monsters. Unfortunately, unless it's an XYZ, you can't then use it to rank up. But you'd go Cypher Dragon into full armor would then pop one, and it's a 4k beater, and then you'd rank up one more time into Blade Dragon and pop another card. So this is a nice way of popping 2 cards. Should you do this at the end of the battle phase, let's say a Salamangreat player has banished their Bailings to protect their cards, and you've got 2 level 8s on board, you go Cypher, 2 technically steal 1 card. You can steal 1 card your opponent controls, as long as it's not a Link monster, it's even better for you. Then you go into full armor, pop 1 card, then you go into Blade Dragon, pop 1 card, and then you use Blade Dragon and the card you've stolen to link in, and you can kind of go from there. Because Cypher is for the rest of this turn, so as long as you do it in main phase 2, doesn't really matter. And that is it for the extra deck. I think the Cypher engine, as much as I love it, was too big. Like, there was too much of it. Like, it's a 3 card engine in the extra deck, and I think those 3 cards could have been so much more. So I'm highly considering changing that up a little bit and making it something else. But for now, I hope you like this. I hope this gave you a different look on a Gren Maju castle deck, or just gave you a couple of ideas for your own Gren Maju castle deck. Like I said, I probably might be adapting this to include the Orcus, but I'm just going to wait for the ban list, because the second the ban list drops, I do not expect Orcus to be a sustainable deck. I still think it's going to be very, very powerful and useful, but I don't think it's going to be dominating the meta anymore. But it'll still be a good engine, maybe, to put in this, depending on what they have left after Konami are finished with them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.